So life's full of surprises. What you need to do is you need to adapt. So let's say you're heading down a country road, shooting, probably going like 80 miles an hour because you are kind of deal. It's real easy to speed. Let's go with that. Then a deer jumps out to you in front of you. Well, got two options. You can hit a deer or you can swerve. One might be better than the other. Somebody's going to say you can brake too. No, you're going too fast. You can't brake. Don't even bother with it. Hit the deer or swerve around the deer. But that's one of those dealies where you got to adapt kind of deal in the moment. And a lot of those things, a lot of those life things, you can see that deer way ahead of you. You can see that thing. It doesn't just jump out in front of you. You have opportunities to see that way in front before it gets in front of you. Way ahead. You know, you see maybe you see two or three of them walking ahead, walking towards the front of the road, and then you got that one that just takes off and runs out in front of you kind of deal. But you hit the warnings there. And life's about all those warnings. You know, you see stuff happening, you kind of, even if you don't see it, you hear about it happening. And you got to react. And if you don't react, if you just keep driving the car, you're going to hit the deer. And that might have been the best choice. You know, swerving is not always the best choice kind of deal. But you also put yourself in that situation. You're the one behind the wheel of that car. You're the reason why you hit the deer. You know, yes, the deer jumped out in front of you, but you were controlling a lot of those things before you got there. And life's like that, where you might have the best car and all that. You might be able to figure everything out, but it doesn't matter if you're making the mistakes or if you're making the actions. I shouldn't say mistakes. If you're making the actions, it comes down to that, where that's how things are, and you just got to react. If you dropped from your job, you got to react to that. You know, same deal. But maybe you've seen a whole bunch of things that are coming up before that happened. Little conversations in the break room or so on. Or so-and-so just got promoted and then they got dropped. Or a couple of your higher-ups got dropped, or they're slimming that down. Well, that kind of deal. Food prices going up. You know, how do you react to that? You got to play around with, maybe you got to change what you buy, change what you eat. Maybe you can't afford to buy those Oreos anymore kind of deal. Stuff like that. Just everything moves and positions around. Electricity's going up. How you going to react to that kind of deal? Life's all about how you react. And you can see things coming up a majority of the time. You can see a lot of warning signs and a lot of things coming up. And you can actually sometimes, not always, sometimes things just are bad, but sometimes you can take advantage of those things, you know. If you see something going along the lines of like a field, there you go, plumbers. Okay, so you got all these people, and if you see a town hasn't had has an area where there's going to be a data center or something like that. Well, the data center is going to need a plumbing system, so maybe you're able to get your hold of that and get your hands on that contract. Maybe you come across something with the area has an HOA and they're pretty sick of this current contract, or they're messing up this current contract. Well, maybe you can play around and maybe you can get your foot in the door on that grass contract or landscaping contract before they kick that other guy out, and then you're in their fresh minds, and all that kind of deal. Maybe you get on the board and you buddy up to somebody, and then you're not in, but you're kind of in the good graces kind of deal where you actually get into that contract. Stuff along those lines. You just got to react. And we're in a planet that's spinning around. We got meteors and everything else thrown at us, you know, that reacts. And if, like, cavemen and all, or whatever the heck, olden times, how about that? Let's go with that. If they didn't react, they died. Heck, up to about the 1950s, if you didn't react, you died. You know? And even, I guess you could say it even today. I'm kind of throwing that out the window here. But if you don't react, things happen. If you see the stuff, and you just got to react in time. See stuff coming, know what you need to do, and actually do it. And if you can't do it, that's another issue. Well, why can't you do it? React to those things. Okay, still can't do it because of these things. Okay, react to those things. But don't just be like, hands in your pockets, you know, I can't do anything about it. Because I guarantee you can. You're just not going down that line of, why can't you do it? Okay, what's stopping you? And solve for that problem. And then if you got more issues with that, solve for that problem. And now you made a little path of action plan. You made an action plan and all that. But just go for it and react, because that deer's going to jump out in front of you. It's a matter of if you see it in time, or if maybe you don't put yourself in the situation of, you know, that kind of deal, and then how you react in that, because life happens. So don't just be somebody that doesn't react. You need to react. And the more you react, usually, the more you ask yourself these questions, usually the better off you're going to be. All right? Because you'll be ready for things. If you react to the small things, you'll be ready for the big things. Not always. Some big things will just come up, you know, but it is what it is. So, yeah. See you, folks.